Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome. This is Ramola D of Ramola D Reports. I'm here this morning with Seven of Solutionaries Media Network. And Seven, as you may know, is a concept creator, a writer, an entertainer, a musician with vast accomplishments to her credit, who has also unfortunately been the victim of intellectual property theft with a very large media conglomerate whom she took to court and won against. Now, recently, there have been some developments in her case where people in her court case probably seeing the extent of her work online and the fact that a lot of people are certainly journalists, etc., beginning to pay attention to Seven's court case. She has been facing some retaliation online. She's been stalked and slandered online by a certain person in this media conglomerate who has not hesitated to put his name to the comments that he has left online for her. And I should also say that this person, in fact, has left his name on my own website, underneath my own videos, and has been sending threats and, pretty much stalking my videos as well online. So this person's name is Richard Hanna. He's one of the named people in Seven's court case. And, it's been seriously disturbing even for me. And I have been forced to look seriously at what he's been saying, to go deeper into Seven's case myself, to examine all of the evidence for myself, and to respond to this man, Mr. Richard Hanna, which I have done. And other people have noted this and written about it. So these are the subjects we're going to be talking about this morning. So welcome, Seven. Thank you for joining me.
Greetings, Ramola. Nice to see you again. Unfortunately, under not so great circumstances of this bully, but here we are, I'm just really disgusted about what this man is doing. Unfortunately for us, he just doesn't seem to want to stop. He had the opportunity to respond in court. He didn't turn out. Judgment was against him. There were courtroom audios and tons of evidence to show his guilt. He's got my money in his bank account. He doesn't want to give it back. He doesn't want to go to jail. And so he's retaliating by actually abusing and harassing and threatening. And it's just gone off the charts. This is a man that's obviously guilty. He's very well known as a con man. He's very well known as a bully, as a con man, as a thief, a liar. He's a pathological liar, and he's a psychopath. And this will not leave me alone. And so what his aim is to keep me isolated. So because journalists are now covering the case, because it's of public interest. My shows are really famous all over the world. Dancing with Stars, Strictly Come Dancing, You Are What You Eat, 10 Years Younger. These are all massive franchises all around the world that gross billions of pounds and have done over the last 15 years. And they don't want to give any of that money to the creator, who is me. And so that's the back end of the story. But the other side of it is the horrors that have manifested in relation to the case, in attempts to cover up the case, the extremes that these monsters have gone to. And so to keep all that covered, they've basically engineered a whole campaign. Now, because obviously there is much more public interest, I'm doing a lot of shows, I'm launching my own media network, which you're going to be one of the reporters along with other people. I'm doing shows with Alpha Weber, I'm doing shows with Joanne from CCN.
Conscious Consumer Network. Yeah.
That's right. She does Reclaiming Perception. Lovely Joanne Lomax. And so I'm doing things and it's starting to take off. Then we had the hashtag campaign. I opened a Facebook, they shut it down. They shut down my views on Twitter. They shut
really?
down.
I didn't know that.
you know, going hard, you know, to
I did notice that it was directly after your, you know, no more abuse, no more evil hashtag campaign that you started, that we talked about on Newsbreak, right? On Newsbreak 6 and 7, was it? And immediately after that, this sudden explosion of slander and smearing all online by this guy, Richard Hanna, started. And, you know, I should probably tell our viewers that basically one of the things he's trying to do is to call your entire court case into question, call that judgment into question, and call your copyright and your intellectual property into question. You know, he's kind of questioning that it belongs to you in the first place. Whereas the documentation exists, the information exists, and I've looked at it, that points to it being yours.
Right, exactly. And so just to give you all an update, he's been reported to the police.
Okay.
Police, because it's very, very serious. This man has been literally, for the last 15 years, he's made my life a living hell. It's just that it's publicly being seen now. You know, before it was all covert. With the targeting, it's always covert, but he's obsessed. He's a psychopath. He's absolutely stir-back crazy. He's totally insane. It's very clear to anybody who listens to the audio where the judge gives judgment against him that he should have paid me all that time ago. He knows that he hasn't, and he knows he's criminally holding my money. Not only that, he's criminally responsible for crimes against humanity. He doesn't want to go to prison. So what he's doing is just basically trying to engineer a whole hocus pocus charade in order to try to discredit me and try to remove people's attention away from the evidence and to get them to listen to him. Now, he seems to be operating with a group of people called, I think they're called Hoaxstead or something like that.
Oh, yes, Hoaxstead.
Yes, and the interesting thing about them is that they were the people that were assigned to shut down the Hampstead case.
Correct. You know, I discussed this also with Neelu Berry, because she told me about how, you know, when she and others came forward to find out the truth of what was going on in the Hampstead case, etc., and, you know, kind of try to protect the children over there, their names were also dragged in the mud at this Hoaxstead website.
But people have flagged up that the Hoaxstead people are actually the Satanists. And so obviously anybody who's credible is a threat to their whole satanic order. And so obviously this is why Hannah has joined forces, because anybody who's credible or anybody who's got any common sense and authenticity and any form of intelligence would never align themselves to a man like that. You know, so the sheer fact that he's working with them tells you a lot about the fact of what's going on. Do you see what I mean? And who he
Correct,
really is.
it does. But you know what's especially astonishing to me when I first looked up that website and saw the stuff that was written about you? I mean, these guys are going all out to try to slam you and bring you down. They've got a whole campaign. They've got articles. They've got, you know, responses to the court case, pulling out transcripts and, you know, publishing them. And are they...
I mean, the thing is, if you had to pay back billions and billions of pounds, lose the houses, lose all the cars, and face a lifetime in prison, you'd probably do that. Anybody would probably do that. You know, this is a man who's engaged in 15 years of the most horrific crimes against humanity, and he's trying to save his skin. You know, he's desperate to save his skin. So anyway, he's now been reported to the police. So it's all with the Metropolitan Police. And I want to show you, if you don't mind, is it okay?
Go ahead, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll share the screen and then I can you can have a look at the updates so that you see. So this is the letter from, can you see that?
It's just started screen sharing. It's black right now. But I'm still waiting for it. Okay. It's still black. Oh, now I see it. It's white again. Okay.
Okay.
There's a letter.
So this is the letter, the update from the Metropolitan Police. This is my crime reference number. And this is all in relation to Richard Hanna, who they know I'm the victim. You know, they know that the police are fully aware. I've got over 75 police reports on this man. you know, and I'm definitely not the
Wow.
only victim, you know.
Is
So
this
anyway,
over time or just recently?
no, just this is recent, but over the last 15 years, there's over
I
70.
see. Okay. Oh my God. Just on this guy, huh?
No, just well, he's part of the crime syndicate, which
Oh, the
is, you know,
whole crime syndicate.
yeah,
Because of all of the targeting and stalking that you've been subjected to. Yes.
right, exactly. And so obviously the court case, and he's aware, because the thing between him going to prison and not is trying to smear me, is them basically making me perceive not credible anymore. So
Right. That's the intention. Yeah.
so they're desperate to actually make it appear that I'm not telling the truth, even though there's so much evidence. So they're trying to smear the evidence because they've got nothing. They've got
Right.
nothing and they're guilty, and that's basically, they're terrified. So now it's put in the hands of the police once again. So
Mm-hmm.
you can see here, it says there, Ms. Charles, we're sorry to hear that you've been a victim of crime. We are working hard to catch those responsible. A
Mm-hmm.
Metropolitan Police officer is investigating your case and will be in contact with you soon to find out more about what happened. It's important for your case to give the officer as much information as possible so they can identify and find those responsible. What the officer finds out can also help us investigating other cases, identifying links between different crimes, because this is organized crime. So when you're talking about organized crime, it's a web. So, you know, it starts off as organized IP crime, but then the money goes into, from there, gets put into perhaps, well, as we've seen, false flag terror. It goes into other forms of organized crime. Do you see what I mean? Domestic terror, targeting of individuals.
That's right. It seems to be a kind of a network. It's sort of octopus crime, really. They've got tentacles in every criminal activity you can imagine.
Right. So that's why it says here, what the officer finds out can also help us investigating other cases, identifying links between different crimes and making sure the police and other agencies know where problems are happening so they can take action to protect other people from becoming victims. Please note that due to varied nature of police officers' job, such as working in different shifts, dealing with emergencies, it may be a few days before they're able to get in touch with you. So, you know, this was on the 15th of October, and we are now, today is the 24th of October. And so that's just to give, and that was from the crime assessment team. So there's a whole team now. I've put in that I want to press charges against him again, and I want him to be arrested and locked up. That's, you know, what needs to happen. So just to give you another, so just to show you, where is it? So this is basically a statement. Hang on. Okay, I've written to the police again today to give him an update, because Alfred Weber has actually made I sent them the courtroom audios, and also Alfred Weber, let me see if I can find his attachment. What he did is he wrote let me see if I can open it. Sorry, it should be, okay. This is basically a witness testimony about Richard Hanna, antisocial behavior, because as much as he's threatened you, and you're going to show the audience your stuff now, he's threatened me and lots of other journalists and people who have been posting my videos, etc., because he's terrified that this is going to go viral. The truth is going to go viral. So he's trying to shut it down by aggressively, like you said, he threatened you and threatened Alfred, etc. So Alfred did a statement, and it's a report and a witness statement to dangerous antisocial behaviour of Richard J. Hanna, resident of London, UK, towards News Inside Out and me as one of their reporters, because I do a regular show. And it says, question, is it an emergency? Does it feel like the situation can get heated or violent very soon? Is someone in immediate danger? And this is Alfred's response. In our considered opinion, as an international war crimes judge on the Kuala Lumpur War Crimes Tribunal, as well as editor of newsinsideout.com, the dangerous and reckless antisocial acts and behavior of Richard J. Hanna may lead to serious injury or death of our TrueTube.com, newsinsideout.com feature reporter Charles Seven. And so basically he gives a witness statement, and you know, there's a picture. Now look at this man. Does this man look sane to you? You can see he's stir back crazy. He's absolutely, look at his eyes. I mean, this is a picture he publishes of himself.
Oh, this is from him.
Yes.
I
you
see.
Know, he actually has made radio shows about murdering me. Somebody he knows that he's robbed. Somebody he knows that is telling the absolute truth. Somebody he knows has taken him to court. When I took him to court, he didn't turn up. He just sent me death threats.
Right. And Seven, another very interesting thing about this whole case is that when you know, your intellectual property was stolen, etc., and you were refused a normal above board contract with this media company with whom you were meeting with at the time, who ended up stealing your work, at that time you were also, the events that started happening to you, all of the targeting and stalking that happened to you, began to be taken and thrown into little sitcoms and shows, right? And it appears that he's doing the same kind of thing right now. Did we not see some information about him mustering resources to start making a new story, a new storyline, or a new script for a new show?
Here's the thing. There was a contract which he signed and he's aware of. They signed my contract. You know, I wasn't looking for a contract with them. It was my work. It's my intellectual property. I am the intellectual property owner. I'm the copyright owner, which is established in the court case. You know, and he's fully aware of that. He signed contracts. And because his name signed contracts, he was the one that invited me to the to the meeting to meet Helen Alexander. Let's show his face again. He was the one that used a false identity, of a, I mean, I can even show it to you. Let me see if I can open it up quickly and give you a just quick look at what this man has done. Let me come out of here for a minute, just so while I do that. You know, maybe if you show your evidence, I'll find...
No worries. I think that's what I'll do, because one of the things I wanted to do actually was to share screens and show this article that is written by a journalist, a young journalist that we know, who's using the pen name Scribendo Cogito. And this is the article, Strictly Secret, the Creation of Strictly Come Dancing. And this actually spells out the whole background to the case and the story of your work, all of your creations, and the whole story as to how it came to be stolen. And what Scribendo Cogito has done is linking some of the videos where you are talking about it, and also exposing, you know, this media conglomerate as well as Richard Hanna. And also there's, you know, a little bit of activism there, asking people to share this information. Oh, and also the Grenfell Tower report, because tragically your family was in the Grenfell Tower and became victims of this horrific fire, which turns out to have been another attack, and massacre, just like, you know, 9/11 and the World Twin Towers. So this is an earlier video, I think, where we talked about it, right? The Grenfell Towers, and and okay, here's the news break that we did recently, where you discussed your new scheme or hashtag campaign to for people to stand up, speak their truth, and you know, fight back the evil and corruption that we're all being faced with here. So but it's beneath this video that he left this letter, and It's a very distressing letter, and basically he says that, I can read this. It's been brought to my attention you've published malicious communications and content regarding me and 8 other individuals related to a matter called SevenGate. Video content has been published on a site or sites you manage under the ownership of social media companies. You also have a number of websites. Our issues are not with you. I'm requesting that you remove this content within 14 days of this date. It is defamatory. Should you choose not to, I will serve an injunction on the social media companies concerned, who will be forced to remove content and be forced to pursue you for spreading malicious content on the sites you own. And it's important I explain why. And then he goes into telling some stories about SevenGate. SevenGate is predicated on Charles Seven winning a High Court case in the UK in 2016. This claim is repeated across numerous sites and hours of video. It's the basis for her claims to have been gang-stalked. In fact, the case was struck out, and this has been a matter of public record for 12 years. So this is false, as I have discovered. The official record has been forwarded to appropriate parties. She did not lose. She could not win. The courts decided there was no case to answer. Again, this is false, as I discovered looking at the evidence and your reports. And also listening to Tony Farrell, the principal intelligence analyst from South Yorkshire Police, who worked with you and actually analyzed your case independently on his own and produced a report. So then, more threats. This is not a matter of free speech, opinion, or conspiracy. Charles Seven has simply chosen to mislead her followers. Not true. Beware, we will also... So I found this interesting. He said he would be talking to the Metropolitan Police in London because we do not know where Ms. Seven resides, but we're reporting her incitement to do us harm and falsely accusing us of criminal acts and threats against her person. I'm very glad you've reported him to the Metropolitan Police at this point in time.
He's a known criminal. This is the thing. He's a known criminal. He uses different identities, as I'm going to show you right now. When he went on to Alfred Weber's page, he went on as a female. He used an identity as a female and basically tried to engage. And then as soon as you try to communicate with him, it's him. You think you're communicating with a woman, and then it's all of a sudden it's him. This is what he does. And, I'd like to show you the evidence.
There's one more accusation he makes that's very serious, though, and it's very wrongful of him to have done that. So I think it should be addressed, and that's in the last paragraph here where he's talking about, he's not aware. He's basically saying that he's suddenly woken up to this and he's suddenly going to address this. I was not aware as to the length of time and complexity woven into the SevenGate hoax, nor the intensity of her fabrication until this year, and so it must stop. For myself, my family, the 8 others wrongly accused, and the late Judge Pumphrey. It's considered, and so this is the accusation. It's considered there may be some mental health issues with Charles. Now, this is the famous note that people strike, when they want to attack and retaliate against whistleblowers, etc. And although we are not qualified to help, we do believe if we can remove this fixation, she'll be in a better place to get the help she needs. Please confirm you're happy to cooperate, put right or wrong perpetrator for 15 years. So anyway, let's go to what you have to show, and then I'll show my response so people can see what I wrote back. So I'll stop sharing.
All right. Okay. So then let me share screen just so that there is, for the avoidance of any doubt, we can actually see exactly who this horrible man is. I want to make it bigger. I want to share the screen.
We have about 15 minutes more, so we kind of need to move.
Okay, so I'm just trying to share the screen, Ramola. I can't see.
Okay.
Okay.
There, see it? There's a little icon below.
Okay. Okay. Are we just all right? Just here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing.
It takes a second. It's black. There, it's come on. Yeah, now I see it. Yeah, you may want to zoom in a bit.
Yeah, so I'm zooming in very big, and
good. I see it now.
Hannah, you can see in October 2013, and this is his email. On my command, unleash sales hell. That's with my work. Unleash sales hell is basically his command to chop my work into small pieces and sell it all over the world. And this is his conspiracy to murder. He says, my name is Maximus. TV program selling us. TV program selling us. That's exactly what he did. He sold my work, chopped it up, and sold TV programs all over the world.
And he did
a murdered career. He says, father of a murdered brainchild, I will have my vengeance in this event or the next. Now, the event that he's talking about is when they invite me to a meeting on the 11th of November to meet this woman, Helen Alexander, who was the head of factual broadcasting in Scottish Media Groups, PLC. They're now called Scottish TV. He says that it's your chance to share your format ideas. Little did I know what I was walking into. I was walking into the office, well, it wasn't an office, it was offices, because it was a huge facilities at the time. And they were bankrupt because they built the facilities, they're on the loan from Japanese people, and they lost the bid to make all these sporting programs to Sky. So in comes me with my new concept to revolutionize the way we deal with health and fitness in entertainment, using dance and all sorts of different shows. And that's what basically emerged straight afterwards. He stole my work and sold it everywhere. So let me just rush through this because I know we don't have a great deal of time. Now, the other thing I want to show you is this is the identity that this man used to lure me to the meeting. He used the identity. Obviously, you've seen the picture of him. That's not him.
Yeah, yeah. So he's stolen this person's name, is what you're saying?
No, he stole his image.
He stole his image.
He said that this man was him.
Oh.
He sent me this via email so that I would recognize him at the station because they wanted to secure me to go to the meeting. Can you hear me?
Wow. No, I'm listening. I can hear you. This is amazing.
Okay. Yeah,
so it was a deliberate deception because he wanted you to recognize him at the station or something.
Yes, I didn't know him he was pursuing me like a lunatic on an obsessive level, and it's carried on for 15 years. He has not stopped. He's mentally disturbed. This man is mentally disturbed. Proof and evidence that evil psychopath Richard Hanna fraudulently used the identity of this unknown man to lure us to a business meeting about my creations by deception. So he basically used deception in order to get us to go to the meeting. He said that this man was him.
That's very odd. It doesn't make any sense. Why would anybody want to do something like that?
Under tort, that's called that's misrepresentation.
That's right.
To actually deceive somebody that this is you, and this is what he's currently doing. He's leaving like over 25 messages, comments on people's channels, some as females with all different identities, pretending them to be him. Okay? Now, let me just show you some other evidence. All right, so this is his witness. This is his signature for my work, the contract. This is the contract for my work, and it says terms of confidentiality.
Yeah.
Agreement between you and ourselves, nor will you act in any way so that such divulsion, dissemination, reproduction, publication, communication, disclosure, exploitation, and other dealing is likely from any other third parties. If it is necessary for you to disclose any information disclosed to you, that is for my intellectual property. So this is the contract for my intellectual property, which you will see was signed by Hannah. It says, if it is necessary for you to disclose any of the information disclosed to you, to any of your colleagues, employers, employees, or third parties, you will first let us have written details of such colleagues, employers, and employees, or third parties. And they shall sign a letter of confidentiality in exactly the same terms as contained herein, or will acknowledge that they are bound by such colleagues, employers, and employees, or third parties, and shall observe all restrictions relevant to this confidentiality as if it were you. If you do not approve such disclosure, then you will not disclose the same to such colleagues, employers, and employees, or third parties, and acknowledge that by breaching the terms of this agreement would result in legal action against yourself and your signatories. Without prejudice of generality above, you hereby confirm and agree that all communications between us with regards to the concept and relating thereto are to be treated in the strictest of confidence between you and ourselves, and that all drawings, documents, outlines, synopsises, including for the avoidance of doubt, without limitation of technical information or designs, will remain at all times the sole exclusive property. Our sole exclusive property. That's my property, basically. And this is Richard Hanna's signature, you see. And this was at the meeting. It's witnessed by somebody called Lisa Parnay. So he's terrified, because this is what you call breach of contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's signed this contract and immediately sold my work all over the world. And what he did is he attempted to have me murdered in order to cover it up. So obviously, once I saw he done that,
mm-hmm.
this is the court proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
His name, Richard Hanna.
Right.
Okay. And all the other parties, which was on the 5th of August 2004. So after I saw my work was being stolen and sold all over the world, there you see my court case against him
mm-hmm.
for significant injuries, losses, damages because of intentional deceit, theft and infringement, plagiarism of copyrighted multimedia production documents, theft, infringement, plagiarism, misuse and conversion of claimants' personal copyrighted joint autobiographical book and movie scripts called The Walk, illicit trading of the claimant's master copyrighted multimedia production package documents,
mm-hmm.
provided as evidence for the proposed case, injunctions for harassment, trespass to the person, infringement of privacy, threats to the claimant's rights to safety, security and protection. Claimant also requests injunctions to discontinue any further illicit trading. Sorry, I need to drink some water.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
And misuse of the claimant's personal joint autobiographical book and movie manuscript, The Walk. Now, that is what exactly happened after he signed you can see the course of
and all
events.
of the defendants are named over there.
Yes, and the paper trail.
Mm-hmm.
But on this, you can actually see, if you look at the email, the date of the email, then you look at the date of when he signed the contract. Then
mm-hmm.
if you start to look at the evidence of when my work was disseminated all over the world, and you'll see the correlation of when I actually took legal proceedings. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then you listen to the courtroom audios and you will see it establishes that Richard Hanna was guilty. Okay?
Right. And I should say I have heard the audio recordings. I heard the judge speak and say that, without doubt, unequivocally, copyright is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. And here again, this is another document which was from 2 Lord Justices. So this is besides the courtroom audios, and this predates the courtroom audios. So this is before the courtroom audios. My case went before 2 Lord Justices who also ruled in my favor on the 2nd of May 2006. Okay, and there again you'll see mm-hmm. Richard Hanna's name is featured. Mm-hmm. So what you're seeing is a smear campaign by somebody who's guilty. This document clearly says the court is ordered claimant's application for permission to appeal, because my case started in the Court of Appeal, because mm-hmm. when the court case was supposed to happen in July of 2005, they literally terrorized me. I had to go into hiding because I realized that they were going to blow up the trains. And so I went into hiding just before the London bombings happened and the shooting of John Charles Menendez. And there was on the day of the bombing, there was a letter put underneath my door by bailiffs who had been sent to literally terrorize me with the date of the bombing of it, showing that it was them that did it. Because my case, which is the biggest case of its kind with the most monetary value, was literally coming into play at that time. And they did not want this case to get any traction, to get any publicity, and they wanted me dead because the deals were massive. We're talking about deals in 126 countries, and it's unprecedented. So my case when I went into hiding, and while I was in hiding, they had my case removed from the court lists. So when I got out of hiding, I said, where is my case? And they said, basically, it doesn't exist.
Oh
so
my
I
goodness.
had to go to these lordships in order
Lord Justice Chadwick.
Yes, so these are two lordships
Sir Peter Gibson. Okay.
Sir Peter Gibson. So my case,
these were the two judges, yeah?
Yes, they're two Lord Justices.
Okay.
So those are the highest judges on the land in the UK.
Okay.
And so there you have all their names once again. Richard Hanna is clearly featured, and you will see, upon reading or on reading the appellant's notice sealed on the 14th of October 2005, filed by the claimant seeking an extension of time, seeking permission to appeal from the order of Justice Blackburn on the 12th of August. In fact, he didn't even make an order. He just removed my case from the lists. It's only when I queried, where is my case, that he had to create an order, but there was no order made. It was just removed, because obviously they thought they were going to kill me. And so they would remove all records of the case, and nobody would be none the wiser. But I ended up being smuggled to Notting Hill Gate police station. And after being smuggled, after 3 months of being in hiding, I was taken to court, and this is the outcome of that particular case. So this is separate from the audios. So it says, on reading the application notice sealed on the 21st of October 2005, and filed by the claimant seeking permission to rely on further evidence. So I brought all my evidence, which this judge Blackburn tried to remove. And it said, on reading the application notice sealed on the 28th of February 2006, filed by the claimant seeking an injunction, and on hearing Miss Charles Seven in person and Brian Nicholson, counsel for 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 7, 8, and 9. So you'll see that Richard Hanna's, who was defendants 3 and 4, he's not there because he didn't turn up in court. He was unrepresented. He had the opportunity to, but what he did is what he's doing now.
I see.
Different, and basically tried to bully me and terrorize me in order for me to drop the proceedings, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it is ordered that the claimant's application for permission to appeal and extension of time be granted. Means I won. Be granted.
Yes. Yeah. 7
the application to rely on further evidence granted, and the appeal be allowed. That means I won. Okay, I never got a penny, even though I won this. So this is even separate from the other case where I had the courtroom audios from. And on this occasion, I didn't get anything anyway. And so why I'm being attacked by this brute is because of this evidence. He doesn't want anybody to know that everything that I'm saying is factual. So I'm going to stop sharing now and let you have the time, because I know you have to run.
That's right. So, but this is great that you went through all of that and showed us exactly what happened over here.
Yes.
So,
one more thing, Ramona, before you...
Absolutely. Go right ahead. Yeah.
Okay, because I've got a bundle full of witness statements. Okay. And what I do is share that with you. Not today, but I have 14 people who are witnesses. And perhaps on another show, we can just go into the witnesses, what they said, because 14 witnesses produced evidence and witness testimonies. Also proving that Richard Hanna lost and owes me a great deal of money. So
yes. Yes, and that is pretty much, definitely we can do that. And, the fact that you are indeed in the right here and that you have been extremely and excessively wronged, you've been victimized, you've been targeted, you've been wrongfully retaliated against, all of that is there in the proof and the evidence in the documentation that you have. So, and I spent some time looking once again at your reports, listening to the recordings before I wrote back to him. And this is what I said. I said, Mr. Hanna, my interest as an investigative truth-focused reporter in covering an issue of great public interest derives from publicly available material on writer, musician, and media concept creator and innovator Charles Seven's public interest court case. Yeah? Sorry?
Ramona, it was very distorted, so can you...
Oh, okay. Let me read it again. Can you tell me if you hear it okay?
Yes, I'll let you know.
All right. My interest as an investigative truth-focused reporter in covering an issue of great public interest derives from publicly available material on writer, musician, and media concept creator and innovator Charles Seven's public interest court case, which draws attention to extreme theft by wealthy media groups in the news and entertainment media world of her personal, copyrighted, intellectual property and creative work, an issue of continuing and deep concern to all artists, writers, and intellectuals everywhere. For all concerned viewers and yourself, including any social media companies you may wish to serve injunctions to, remember this was part of his threat to me, and I can't stop people from doing what they want to do, but I can tell them the truth. So here's what I spelled out. Number one, please be aware that neither Seven nor I are misrepresenting the facts in our video interviews and discussions, which continue as we strive to put the very important and tragic story of her intellectual property theft and subsequent targeting before the public. It is defamatory to suggest otherwise. And two, the full details of Seven's court case, including court audio recordings, wherein Judge Pumphrey stated he must rule in Seven's favor, and where I understand a group of defendants, including yourself, lost the case by default and inability to defend, may be found online. And this is where your information is kept at http://www.thefarrellreport.net. I advise that all listen to the court audio recordings, and I posted the link to the court audio recordings. It looks here on Steemit in this article, the link's been removed, but it's underneath my video. It's underneath Newsbreak 6. So please go and check is what I'd ask anybody. And read Mr. Farrell's and Seven's joint report. Judge Pumphrey stated there is no doubt there's copyright and that the case would go to trial, despite the certain unhappy consequences for the participants, asking, has Mr. Hanna ever been to court, and stating on Seven's response in the negative, well, apply for summary judgment against him. Subsequent to Judge Pumphrey's untimely death shortly afterward and the lack of court enforcement of the summary judgment, Principal Intelligence Analyst Tony Farrell of the South Yorkshire Police reported the details of both police and court corruption in Seven's case as a state cover-up of monstrous proportions, a story that involves gang stalking and what I would classify as domestic terror, and a monstrous cover-up in the judiciary and in the police service. A case also, he said, that provided insight into the events of the 7/7 London bombings and the terror fear-mongering tactics perpetrated throughout July 2005 and all the subsequent cover-up of those monstrous atrocities. And this is Tony Farrell. I guess that is the video where you and he give a statement about this. And, you know, I've directed people over there, for further information, please see The Monstrous State Cover-Up of Miss Seven versus Gossage and 9 Others by Tony Farrell, and there's the link. The tremendous wrong perpetrated here has been against Seven and her family for over 15 years, as per all court documents, witness statements, affidavits, testimonials, and analyses. Contrary to the wrongful content of your comment suggesting mental health issues, I really wanted to address that. Seven's superior mental acuity and profound intellect continue to assist and support thousands of others who have been wrongfully targeted by a corrupt and criminal bureaucracy concealing racketeering crimes. As evident in her presentation of her paper, The Protection of Intellectual Property Rights, at the International Conference for Jurists and Writers on 23rd June 2014, covering the urgent need for protection of targeted creative individuals, protection of individuals' property ownership rights, and protection for the wider public at large from organized IP crime cartels involved in domestic terrorism. And that's the presentation you gave, and that's a most interesting and important presentation. I recommend everybody listen to it, especially if you are a creative writer, artist, intellectual in any capacity, if you wish to learn how to protect your rights. Seven is well versed in the law and has created a lot of videos talking about how one can protect their own rights.
And that occasion, Ramola, I actually was invited as a distinguished speaker to give a paper before international judges all over the world. So it was judges and magistrates. So this presentation was actually before judges, and I would never have been invited had I not won my case. You know,
absolutely, yes. And had your case,
I was invited because I'd won.
Right, and had your case not garnered wide acclaim and renown by then, because you were well known at that point, I think, at least to the people certainly who invited you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to go before judges from all over the world, there's nobody that would be invited to speak to international judges without having had, you know, done what I did. So
yes, and looking at the documents, listening to the recordings, it seems fairly clear that you have certainly won your case. You won your case of intellectual property theft against this huge media conglomerate, but because they're so huge and they're so powerful and they appear to be connected to, you know, mafia networks, they simply sicked a bunch of goondas and mafia thugs on you instead of, you know, paying out and paying up. So basically I said to him, I will not be removing any of my videos or articles reporting the injustice and tremendous criminal targeting Seven has faced, a subject of central interest to my reporting, which covers targeting crimes against many, and I advise that anyone interested in understanding the wide-reaching import of this very critical case of intellectual property theft and targeting kindly first on the report explain that currently reports online stalking by you, and that is the video where you talk about it. And I just stated I will indeed be covering this case further. And I mentioned, you know, I don't appreciate being threatened, Mr. Hanna. I welcome the involvement of the Metropolitan Police in exploring the corruption Mr. Farrell describes and paving the way for enforcement of the judgment in Seven's favor, returning to her in full the intellectual property stolen from her, as well as all monetary proceeds from its unlawful global sale. Far from being a malicious spreading of content, my reportage of crimes, cover-ups, and injustice is openly truth-seeking, and my guests, many of whom have experienced great suppression of voice by powerful criminals, are permitted to express themselves. Please be advised, I will not be further responding to any comments you choose to post. I reserve the right at all times to remove malicious, hostile, libelous, threatening, or stalking comments from my video channels and websites. And I signed it. And
thank you so much, Ramola. It was so well written. I really, I can't thank you enough. And also to the author of the wonderful article, you know, which I've yet to go through, you know, because they, as you said, it's whistleblowers like yourself, like myself, like all of the people who have a horror story to report. It's the same practice. The practice is suppression, shut us down, isolate us, threaten us, smear our names, you know.
Smearing is a huge part of it. Character assassination, defamation, smearing, and, you know, retaliation, and then calling people mentally ill. I've seen this 100 times now, speaking to so many people. So it's outrageous. It's unacceptable. It's unpardonable. It's inexcusable. We shouldn't stand for it. I certainly don't stand for it. And as everybody knows, you know, these are the stories I cover. And, you know, I explore everybody's stories in great detail. Some people don't think I do, but I absolutely do. Not everybody gets on my show, and not everybody gets to come on here and talk about their cases. There is a long process of discovery where I actually engage in interaction with people, look at their documents, look at their information, look at their evidence before we do a podcast or an interview. So it's very important to me that the truth is presented at all times, you know. And so in your case, I'm glad you are fighting for your rights. I'm glad you are continuing to stand up and speak out. And, you know, certainly right now, many people are coming forward to support you. And, you know, I celebrate that occurrence, that people are seeing the truth of what you are doing. Yeah.
Thank you so much to you, Ramola, and everybody. To what's the name of the author? It's scribed. It's scribed.
Scribendo cogito.
Okay. Much thanks to that author and to everybody who supported me. You know, I am so grateful. And, you know, what we can see and take as a piece of evidence is what happens when these bullies from these big conglomerates or, you know, corporate institutions and media houses and entertainment industry moguls, you know, what we're having is a lot of these people are mentally ill. This man is clearly mentally ill. There's absolutely no doubt about this man being mentally ill. Yet this man who's clearly mentally ill, he's not only mentally ill, he's also a thief. He's also a con man. He's also a man who uses identity fraud. He's a cyber stalker. He's targeted me. He's got a list of crimes to his name, and he's well known for it. He's well known for it. And
Absolutely.
This man has the audacity to try to silence somebody he's terrorized. He knows he's terrorized me for the last 15 years so that he can keep the proceeds of my wealth. You know, this is wealth that can be used for humanity. It could be used to create hospitals, healing centers, schools, you know, creative industries, new record companies, you know, wonderful institutions which will thrive, you know, which will be run on ethics, you know, where artists could get record deals and they get the right money paid to them. And
poets could get their books published, and fiction writers could get their books published.
Could get their works, you know, put out there. Authors like yourself, script writers like yourself, creative people like yourself, who should be in mainstream media. You should be mainstream media. You know, people who put their neck on the line to tell the truth. You put your neck on the line to tell the truth. Mainstream media, more often than not, they do not tell the truth. So they're not.
They're all supported. I mean, look at those people with the fancy jobs. They're all supported. They're paid fancy salaries, and they're putting out propaganda. That's what they're doing. This is the whole. This is the system organized by the crime cartel, right? This is their propaganda machine. That's what mainstream media is. So literally, you know, what you're describing sounds fabulous, and I do hope the world will change and kind of flip back to, you know, truth and reality, so that will come to pass, so that people like you and me can indeed flourish and thrive and do good work for humanity, which is what we're all about, as anybody should be able to see looking at our work.
Yes.
So
I welcome anybody who wants to support us in, you know, fighting for people to, number one, stop abusing whistleblowers, stop targeting individuals, whether it be creative or any type of individual. You don't have a right to target us. We're not your slaves. You know, I welcome anybody's support in, if you have been threatened by this man as well and you want to write a witness testimony to the police, I welcome it, because this is what people are doing right now. They're writing witness testimonies and they're sending it to the Metropolitan Police in London. So if anybody wants to participate in that, I'm really, really grateful. And yeah, just thank you.
If there's any information you want to put below the video, by all means send me the links. I will stick it below the video.
Any evidence, or if you witness anything or you keep anything, because I know a lot of people have seen the whole targeting operation against me and the cyber stalking, the smearing and the slandering, you know, but what they don't realize is that they're giving me publicity, because anybody with half a brain is going to read that and come to my channel and think, okay, let me see whether or not this woman is telling the truth, and then they'll see audios and documents and sealed documents by the court, and they'll think, hold on a minute, this guy's crazy. You know, he's been reported to the police. He said something about me being wanted. He's wanted.
He is, and you know, the larger serious repercussions of that connection with the London bombings, etc., you know, that's so important, and that's the connection that Tony Farrell brings forward. So all of that needs to be explored as well by other people who know nothing about this. But we're going to have to bring this to an end this morning. So thank you so much, Seven, for speaking out. You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Ramola. And I say to everybody, you know, my new shows are coming soon. Ramola's going to be one of the reporters. We're going to have wonderful reporters on there, and music and crystal shows and relationship shows and all sorts of the whole wide gambit. We're going to have.
Sounds fabulous. I can't wait. I really look forward to it. And of course, thank you for signing me on as a reporter on your show and your network. I guess it's going to be larger than just a single show, I understand. So
just one more thing, Ramola. I just say to everybody, subscribe to Ramola D's channel.
Yeah, please do.
Like the video, share the videos, and also mine on Solutionaries Media Network. That's Soul, SOULUTIONARIES Media Network, and that's on YouTube. And if you put .com, you can go to my website. And anybody out there who wants to advertise on our new media network to support us, you know, if you want to buy advertising space where you can promote your business, if you've got a shop somewhere, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, whatever kind of business, as long as it's positive, holistic, please get some advertising space on our network to support us to grow and to create brilliant media. Okay,
wonderful. So yes. On which note, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Please support Seven's network. Thanks. Thank you again, Seven, and we'll see you again very soon.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye.